we actually became really tight, all four of us. One of the guys in the group, his name was Marvin. He was a cousin of Smokey Robinson.
Okay.
He's a younger cousin of Smokey Robinson. So we put the group together, and I wanted to make sure that I got him because his voice was outstanding. The
Singer?
Yeah.
The lead singer?
No, he was a background singer.
Okay.
The lead singer, his voice was outstanding as well. But it got to a point where they wanted me to lead some of the songs, and I was like, oh no. No.
That's not, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could hold a tune at that time, but I purposely destroyed my voice. I'll tell you that later too. But we actually did a few songs. We actually recorded one out of the 8 that we were about to put out.
Okay.
And that song, well, first, before we got to recording, we would sing in competitions around the little neighborhood in the suburbs.
Okay.
And they got to be respected as real singers.
Hey, you always got to have those, right? Those competitions to weigh yourself against, others where you're at.
Oh, yeah.
Gauge yourself by the audience saying who's good, who's better.
That's right. They would challenge my guys, and my guys would come and get me to make sure they know the key that we're going to sing, what to sing, because I knew their strength.
Okay.
Vocally. And we would come back, meet on the corner, 3 or 4 or 5 different groups.
Whoa.
And they would sing with their actual recordings, right?
Wait, I'm sorry. Hold up. You were saying to me right now that R&B guys were almost acting like battle rap guys?
Yes, they were.
So you would come together and you would go at it, sort of.
Yep. We go at it, yep. The only difference was we didn't have a song recorded yet.
Okay.
These guys would have basement recordings, 4-track tape recordings at the time.
Wow.
We didn't have any of that. So I groomed these guys to compensate for us not being in the studio and recording.
Okay.
So I groomed them to sing live a cappella on the spot.
Wow.
Right there on the spot. And it blew a lot of people's mind, man. It just blew people's mind. And these comedians,
man,
at the drop of a dime, could go into it. Once I gave them the key, and we would go right into whatever song that I wanted them to sing. And blew people away until we finally got together and actually recorded. Wow. We recorded.
So, were there actual competitions, like sort of a ones with a prize at the end of it that you guys would go after? Talent shows?
Yeah, there was so many talent shows that we missed because it was hard to get these guys together.
Okay.
But once we recorded that one and only song, we would rehearse all 8 songs that we had prepared. Okay. But the main song that we wanted to get done was first song called I Want to Know. Okay. And we got that one done finally. But every time a talent show would come up, we would miss it because somebody had to work. Somebody was with their girl, and
Man, getting a group of people together for one common goal is no easy business.
No,
you know what I'm saying? It's no easy business.
Yep.
Now, it makes sense to me, that me looking ahead into your career, what I know, and how you have put things together. It makes sense that you actually started doing that back in the day already, forming your own group, coaching these guys and stuff like that. Now, at which point now that you said your mother encouraged you to say, you know what, maybe you might want to go to Minnesota to meet Prince. But that's just not a random thing. She can just say go to Minnesota and meet Prince. Right. What was the connection there with this whole Prince deal and how you were, you arrived in this state?
I got here in January of 90 something, I think 90. I can't even remember the year, but it was January. Snow was everywhere.
Of course.
I'm trying to get my bearings in Minnesota.
But what you say, sorry for me even mentioning the fact that you said snow and not acting like it's just a Minnesota thing. You're from Chicago. It's snow over there as well.
Yeah.
So
and I just never seen the amount of snow that Minnesota. we get snow, but we get cold
shout out
with
Minnesota,
the snow.
man. Yo, we've been here. Every year we say we're moving,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But we never go.
Yeah.
We love it here.
We get snow in Chicago, but we get cold with the snow.
Okay.
Minnesota gets snow.
Yep.
Snow. So, but I get here and I'm trying to perfect that craft, and some friends of mine. I was in a high school band.
Okay.
I was in a marching band, but we had a R&B funk band,
Man.
as well as that before the groups.
Okay.
Before the R&B groups. The drummer from that band and the rhythm guitar player from that band. Shout out to Romy, and Randy. They would come to Minnesota back and forth to visit me, right?
Yeah.
So they club hopping. They like the clubs.
Yeah.
If it's something that got to do with the time, Morris Day and the Time, or Prince, they want to come to that club and see. So we get dressed up one night, and I had this, suit in Chicago. Ain't no colors, as far as gang stuff.
Okay, no.
So we didn't have to worry about that growing up. I get up here in Minnesota, it's a whole different story. I didn't think nothing of it until we got downtown, Minneapolis. I got this bright red suit from head to toe. My socks, my shoes, everything was red. Mm-hmm. And we go in the club. And they was like, "This is Prince Club?" Like, yeah, this is Glam Slam.
Glam Slam.
Glam Slam.
So he that was the name of his club.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And we went in there, and they was like, "Is he gonna be here?" I'm like, "I heard he's here every weekend. Every other weekend."
Yeah.
He just so happened to be there that weekend. And as close as we are together,
yeah.
After about 20 minutes of getting there, the club is popping. We go that late though, so club popping. Bodyguards walk through.
No doubt.
And this dude stops and parks, like right there, standing, looking at me head to toe. like you got your nerves coming here. You got your nerves coming here with all that on. I don't want no problems in my place. He didn't say it, but that's kind of the way he was looking. And I'm looking like, is that really him? And I'm looking, but I remember them saying, don't look him directly in his eye.
Yo, this is a real movie, yo. Don't look him in his eye.
Yeah.
So, he's gonna traumatize you.
Right. And I'm like, I'm looking at him to try to see why he looking at me like that, up and down, and like.
Wow.
And I went over there to ask him, "Hey, ain't you?" And his bodyguards came and just got in the way. He's like, you would think that he had this kind of high-pitched voice.
Yeah.
He's like, "Nah, it's okay. It's okay." And he shook my hand. Like, wow, okay, all right. That was the first meeting.
Hold on, I think Prince and I think that one of the difference between Prince and Michael Jackson is that Michael talks the way he talks on the record in real life.
Yep. Yeah.
But Prince is strange because he's on the mic doing his silhouettes and his high pitch. Mm-hmm. He got a really huge voice.
Yeah. It's a big old full-bodied voice. Like wow, this dude. So it really makes you appreciate his range, his vocal range. This dude is incredible.
Man.
But he was my idol growing up.
Yeah.
So I finally got a chance to meet him. I say by chance, but the universe knows what it's doing.
Most definitely.
The universe always knows what it's doing.
Yeah.
That was the first meeting.
The first meeting?
Yeah.
Wow.
And during that time, the second time.
Okay.
I was enrolled in one of the music schools.
Here?
Yeah, here in Minnesota. It's called Music Tech at the time.
Is it still out here?
It's not here anymore. They changed the name to IPR.
IPR.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
From there, I happened to walk into the room one day in my apartment at the time, and I hear this song. Remember I told you about the R&B group?
Yes.
The comedians.
Yep.
I hear this song playing. I'm thinking, okay, one of the kids got a hold of my old stuff.
Now, where are you hearing this, on the radio or what?
No, it was just in the house.
Okay.
I'm thinking that it was the radio or one of my cassettes or CDs, right? And I'm thinking, okay, they listening to Dad's music. Cool, let them listen to it. And it's going on, and I hear somebody else's voice on my instrument. So, what's going on? So I went back and peeked, and it's a music video. And I want to tell you the name, but I don't want to, get things going. But it's a very popular boy group.
Okay, now I'm going to play detective, but I'm not going to say anything. But we're talking about mid-'90s, late '90s here now at this point.
Well-known group.
It was the early 90s.
Yeah.
Early '90s?
They came out pretty early.
They
were
came out early.
They were really young. These
All
boy
right.
groups.
Hey, man, listen. You guys put the dots together at this point, because I already got
this particular boy group
They're very popular, too.
that wound up singing on top of my production has a brother who was part of another famous boy group. It went solo.
Okay.
Very popular guy. Very popular guy. Rhymes with a star constellation.
Hey, man. Okay. All right.
I'm hearing this, and I'm thinking, what the hell just happened? Right away, I'm sick.
Of course.
'Cause I know somebody just ripped me off. But I got a copyright.
Hey.
That's what I thought.
Oh, that's what you thought?
That's what I thought. Turns out one of the comedians, I was in the recording studio in Maywood, Illinois, when we were recording that song.
Okay.
And I got sick, and I had to leave the studio because I was sick, like really, really sick. And I left one guy in charge and I told him, make sure you drop this in the mailbox because this is our protection. This is the copyright.
The copyright that you send out to the, the Gulf to get their chair and all that.
That's right, yeah. So he's like, oh, don't worry, T, just go home, get better, man, get some rest. And something told me just to take it with me, But I left and finally made it back from Maywood to Chicago. And right after that, they stopped coming to rehearsals. They stopped coming to meetings. And I got fed up. I got sick and tired of it. Every time I called, nobody wanted to show up.
Yeah.
So that's when Mom said, go to Minnesota and meet Prince to work on your music. And that's what I did.
Man, and Chicago at the time, that was like a hub of, creativity popping left and right. So therefore, people were just, grabbing onto anything.
Yeah, it was popping out there, And so I left because of that, and plus the job market was like, I left for that. Fast forward back to where we were talking before that, with this group.
Yeah, you are now in the crib. You're hearing your music playing here. You're literally getting sick at this point.
Yep. And so immediately, I contact an entertainment attorney.
Okay.
And let him know what was going on. He asked me if I had copies of it and if I did a copyright. And I told him I did the copyright, but they did never drop it in the mailbox. He said that we got a case, but the downfall of that case is it's going to take about 15 to 20 years to prove it.
Sheesh.
And the amount of money that you're going to make from it is going to go to...
That's what you're going to spend in pursuing the whole case.
Yeah. So what do you want to do? I was like, man, there's nothing that I could do, so I dropped it. But from that moment, that track, that song went triple platinum. Triple platinum.
Oh, man, you just made me sick, bro. Woo!
It let me know what I was capable of. It let me know
there you go.
The direction that I was going was right. I said, if I did that, I could do some more.
Oh, man.
And that's when I knew that I was on the right path. I was going to do this professionally. That's how that happened.
That's beautiful, man. Wow. You've experienced some things.
Oh, yeah.
To say the least. Now, going back to Prince a little bit, because I know, I want to hear a little bit of something, and I'm sure this people want to hear a little bit of something too.
Yeah.
Now, what was the relationship after meeting this guy at this club? Randomly, but not necessarily randomly. The universe aligned you in this position to, meet this idol of yours. Was there any relationship that you guys built at some point over the years or anything like that?
Yeah. After I enrolled in music tech, my mentor, I had a bunch of instructors over at Music Tech, and my sole purpose for going to Music Tech was for enrolling in that school was to learn the engineering side.
Okay.
So that I can mix and master my own product.
Which was beautiful, by the way. You were already a natural. Now you were getting the technical know-how by way of school, and now you were about to be
right.
Yeah.
So they wanted me to actually take a music production course with that engineering class.
Okay.
And I was telling them I don't need that part. I just want the engineering part. So they gave me a microphone class, learning about microphones, different microphones, how to repair them, stuff like that. What microphone is best for each individual voice.
Yeah.
Along with engineering. I said, okay, I'll do that. And how I got them to allow me to do that was the audition.
Okay.
My audition for the school had this little $500 keyboard. And they wanted me to prove that I belong in the school.
Of course.
So I put together this music ahead of time.
Yeah.
And I stored it in the keyboard. So I brought the keyboard and I just set it up, put the lines in so it can amplify it.
Yeah.
And I pushed play. And it was like, that sounds great, but how do we know it's you?
How do we know? Hey, that's what I'm thinking. I knew I was going to ask that question.
This keyboard had batteries as well as a power cable.
Okay.
So it was a kind of amateur portable keyboard. So what I did was I asked them to record that track,
Okay.
right, so that they can hear it, so they can play it back for me. Right? So I asked them to record it as a reference so they can know that I'm about to do this. And I took the batteries out, took the plug out, and I hit the all safe factory reset.
Yeah.
So it's nothing in there.
There's nothing in there.
And I redid the track, element for element, instrument for instrument, right there, and everybody was like,
Dang it.
like,
Damn.
and they was nudging each other like.
Man, a
And
genius at work.
They stood up and started clapping
Wow.
like that was amazing. You just did exactly what you did in the keyboard. You just did exactly what it was. And I got accepted. And I became the teacher's pet.
Hey, I was going to say, you got accepted. I mean, it should have, at that point, it should have made you an assistant teacher or, something with something.
Here's the thing. My instructor, Jack Robinson, man, R.I.P. Jack, he was one of Prince's concert engineers. And my first week of school, I was waiting outside class. His class was the first class every morning, 7:30. I would get there at 6:30. And I would wait at the door upstairs for his class.
Wow, an hour ahead of time.
Before anybody was there, I'd sit there and wait because I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get this going. He came, he was like, he wouldn't speak. Jack was stern. He wouldn't speak. So the third or fourth day, he was like, man, what are you doing here, man?
Wow.
Are you homeless or something? I said, no, I'm just ready to go. I'm just ready to get this going. He's like, let me check and see what's going on. Let me look at your stuff. And he was going over my criteria and everything. And he's like, so you telling me you just here all the time just to get started? I said, yeah, I'm here.
Wow.
He said, well, I hope you got something for me to listen to. I mean, a great producer, I heard about you, but I haven't seen anything. A great producer always has something for somebody to listen to.
Yeah.
I said, I'm glad you said that, because I pulled out.
Hey,
what he
man.
said.
Ready, set, go.
He went in, he fired up the pre-production room. This is a small pre-production room with I think it was like a 12-track console, some decent studio monitors. It was the beginning room.
Okay.
And he put that cassette in there, and I had put some jazz together.
All right.
I was just getting back into the music because I quit.
Okay. Wait. You quit? Why?
Wasn't going right at the time after the group,
Okay.
that super group, kind of ripped me off.
Yeah.
So it wasn't going right, and I was doubting myself and just no confidence. I just wanted to quit. So I quit. And this piece of music that I created was called Going Home. I felt it coming back. And remember I told you about that door to another world.
Yep.
Going home. That was me going home into that world where I can create music.
Yeah.
And so I created that piece, and I played it for Jack. And I never forget the look on his face. He stopped it right at the best part. He let it play all the way up to the best part, and he stopped it. And he gave me that same look you gave. The same identical look. He said, I'm going to tell you like this. You the baddest motherfucker that came through these doors that I've heard.
Now, this is a sound engineer for Prince. Wow.
And he said, where have you been? I was like, trying to get here. He said, I'm going to tell you like this. I come from the school of hard knocks.
Yeah.
If you listen to me, you'll go very far. If you listen to me, you won't change a thing about your style of playing and creating music. If you listen, I'm like, I'm all ears, you know. So he told me who he was, what he do, who he's affiliated with.
Yeah.
And of course I didn't believe him, but how can I not believe him? But then I seen pictures.
Yeah.
I said, wow. And so I became teacher's pet.
Of course.
And people didn't like me for that. So, but we started this kind of pop-up small record label for Jack.
For him. So now he's like
he was going to mentor us.
He's trying to put you guys on now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he invited us to go on the class trip.
Okay.
We would go to the different recording studios. He invited us out for a class trip. This time we was going over south.
Okay.
To his personal recording studio that you would never think was there. Never think that was there.
In a conspicuous location or an unassuming spot.
Was public traffic everywhere, people everywhere, but nobody knew it was there.
Wow.
We are about an hour into class. This was a double period class, so we had to be there 4 hours for this class. And we sitting. He wanted us to put some stuff together, some production together.
Yeah.
I'm programming the machine. It was an MPC 2000 at the time. MPC 2000 drum machine.
Okay.
I'm programming it, and I'm taking instruments. I'm playing the instruments. I'm sending it over to the machine to loop it, so that I can have a reference to go off of. And this person walks in the room. They whispering and laughing. The person walks in the room, and it's this old guy.
Okay.
And I didn't think nothing of it. I'm thinking maybe it's one of his friends or relatives or something. And he came and stood behind the class, stood behind me while I'm sitting on this bar stool making this music. And this guy went to the back. Jack went back there. And Jack came back out. And he was asking me, what's the time signature for the track that I was creating? So I wrote it all out for him so he can see it.
I don't even know what that means, bro. Go ahead.
It was just the beat, the
Okay.
tempos and all that stuff. And guy came back, and you know how you sense somebody. I'm thinking, okay, the old guy's back.
Yeah.
And he said, so is this him? I know that voice from that club.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But I didn't think, I didn't
Oh my
think it was him.
goodness.
And I'm still, making the music and transferring files and stuff. And he's like, he said, this is the one you was telling me about? And when I heard that, I turned around and I was like, the hell? And he looked, he was like, just looking like.
Prince is standing right there.
Yeah, like as close as me and her, but he was behind me with Jack.
Wow.
So he was nodding his head like, he was trying to see where I was going with it. He was nodding his head. He was like, what kind of chord progression are you putting in there? And I was trying to explain to him what I was doing. He was like, he looked at Jack, was like, yeah, that's it. And he left out. I didn't see him for about maybe 4 years.
Wow.
Got invited to perform at his club with a rap group that I started. and produced.
Okay. Here in the Twin Cities.
Yep, here in the Twin Cities.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Man.
after that performance, the DJ handed me an envelope. And I said, I don't need it. No, I don't need it. He's like, no, but you need this.
Yeah.
You need this envelope.
Yeah.
And I never came back to take the envelope. But it was his phone number.
Bro, come on,
It was his
dog.
phone number. That was the only time he had a phone. Prince didn't like phones. He didn't like cell phones.
Man, Prince. I mean, you know this way well than I know this, but just from observation and looking at his interviews and tracking some of the things in his life, Prince was very tapped in.
Oh,
Prince was
yeah.
ridiculously tapped in. He was
Yeah.
he was highly illuminated to a high level.
Yeah.
So he was. I remember Prince early on, even early on, speaking about some predictions about technologies and the effects of where it's going to lead us to.
Yes.
So
we when he started inviting me out to Paisley, we would talk. He kind of took me under his wing when he found out that I could play and not just program. He found out that I could play instruments. He was like, "Thank God, somebody's out there listening, because if all the kids don't play instruments, we're gonna have this mechanical, absurd abomination of music."
nothing.
He asked me what I played and how many I played, and I said 23 instruments. He looked at us like, "Can you prove it?"
Hey, man.
I said, "Yeah, what you got?" He's like, "Grab anything in here and show me you could play." And I played. Took me under his wing, and I was at Paisley.
Wow.
Ooh, constantly, like every week, every weekend, I was over at Paisley.
Yeah. What was it like, just fast forwarding, a little bit, what was it like, and where, if you can remember, where were you when you heard the news about his passing, and what was it like for you?
Ooh. That was deep. That was, me and her had just moved together, and I heard about him being sick on the plane.
Okay.
They were talking about putting the Revolution back together, the band, the Purple Rain band.
Yeah.
And I'm always over at the studio where Bobby Z would hang out and have his business over there, the drummer.
Okay.
And we would talk. I'll check up on Bobby sometime and try to make sure everybody's, I'm checking in,
Yeah.
And I was over at the apartment, and I thought it was like a lie. I thought it was, this just another rumor. You know how you
Of course.
hear somebody say R.I.P. Prince, and
Yeah.
I said, no, especially the way they said it, what happened. I'm like, no, because he was extremely conscious of his body, what he put in his body,
Yeah.
and I was just in disbelief. But when it finally sank in, it was like devastating.
Yeah.
It was like that door that I told you about was closed for good. Like, it was closed for good to me, because we're not going to have another one like him.
No, not like him. Man. Not like him. It's there's only a few of these one of a kinds.
Yeah, he was definitely that. People would say, well, he was difficult. He was difficult to a point, if he wanted things his way, I mean, he knew what he wanted, how he wanted it.
Yeah.
It wasn't that he was like being rude or purposely spiteful. You know what I mean?
Not at all. I mean, but there's a reason why these perfectionists, these people have left a huge dent in society. To make your mark on the world is not an easy thing.
It is not.
To leave a footprint or a handprint on the world is not an easy thing. No, there has to be a lot of things that got to align for you. You got to be blessed, number one, with a lot of things, and then you also got to receive those or be receptive to those impulses.
That's right.
To follow your God-given gift and then work hard on these things.
That is absolutely right.
So if a guy like that is trying to tell you, like you said earlier, he asked you, how many instruments you play, and you mentioned, he was like, can you prove it?
Yeah.
He's not leaving a loophole. These are the people who don't leave no stones stones turned.
That's right.
They don't turn every stone. They turn every stone. Excuse me. So that is a perfectionist.
That's right.
That makes me think about the Kobe's and all these guys who they had high demand of themselves and the people they worked with.
Yeah.
So if you were the guy who that will bother you or whatever, you're not built for that.
Exactly.
You shouldn't be in that circle.
Exactly. The main thing too with it is a lot of people just didn't really get it. They didn't get what a person like him goes through. A person like Prince goes through. He rarely slept because of what's going on in his mind and his head. It's always music. It's always music, and I can relate to that.
I can't. Trauma. I'm sorry to cut you off because that was something that I was actually going to bring up. But we'll get back to that particular Prince thing. There was a time in my life where, from about 2013 to at least 2017, when I realized another path was being shown to me. There was a time where I told them about this. There was nothing in my brain but melodies. I had a phone. I had a phone where every time all I had to do was go on the voice recorder.
Yeah.
And I had to keep recording these things because it was all in my head. I was going home this stuff out. So to a lesser degree, I can understand that. But here is a guy who is, made soundtracks for the planet.
Yes. Yes. Like masterpieces. And I always tell people when they ask me, how do you think of these tracks? How do you come up with these tracks? And before I had my injury, we'll talk about that.
Definitely.
Before I had my injury, I would tell people it's a blessing and a curse at the same time because it's so much music in your head when you're a composer. It's hard to sleep because you're constantly hearing these melodies and these ideas, and you have to get up. And I used to sleep with a little handheld recorder at the time. Get up in the middle of the night, still sleeping, and hum out this melody or this rhythm, so that I won't lose it. And do it the next day when I get up. And so that's frustrating. Sometimes it make you grumpy because you don't get sleep. You know. But once you get it out, once you release it and start the process of composing it, it empties out, And so you want to keep going to get it all out so that you can finally say, okay, I can sleep now. I can rest. Right now, I'm starting to go through that again.
Wow.
I'm starting to go through that again. So, whew.
Speaking of going through that again, as we're counting down here, you are a legend. Okay, obviously you are a legend. You've helped mold a lot of careers that we haven't even gotten into yet. We might not have time for all of it. Okay. We'll have you here on another segment, but I just want to get into the fact that for the state of Minnesota, you literally came here when you were just getting into your prime.
That's right.
So most of the work and the production, the contribution to the entertainment part of the business, you did it from here.
Yeah.
And when we speak of the entertainment stuff, not necessarily me personally care so much about the glamour factor about it, but what I really care about is the people who are bridges to help others realize their talents. Like if I heard you saying, hey man, like a trauma team be like, okay, you know what, you got something. I can work with you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You just gave that person a whole lot of tools, motivation, confidence, and all these things. And so you did that to me. Yeah. And we're going to talk more about that in maybe other segments and stuff like that. But counting down here, you work with some of the most recognized guys in the business. Who are we talking about here besides the likes of Prince that you've met, you've worked with, and all these things?
Oh, there's so many of them. Let's start with Prince. There's Prince. From there, Ice Cube, Kanye.
Yeah.
Ooh, there's so many. There's Kanye. There's Snoop Dogg. There's Wheezy. Eventually, got in contact with Dr. Dre's camp. And
Okay. Yeah, Hey, I'm sorry to cut you off, but you told me some stories about Dre that we got to get into another time. But please, sorry, proceed.
That's
Proceed.
okay. There's so many of them. Mystical.
Yeah.
There's so many that because of my injury, it's hard for me to remember all of them.
Definitely.
And there's tons of them, and I wish that I still had access to a lot of that stuff, but unfortunately, it was stolen from me.
Yeah. Maybe the third to the last question here. Speaking of injuries, I just want to get to this part really quick.
Okay.
So, you've been in this state for quite a while now, and this basically is your home, and that's why we're here speaking to you, helping to promote people like you, local heroes, underground kings and queens. But you went through a period where you did all you did in the music industry.
Yeah.
You more fell into the bag as far as just being a regular, guy, family, kids, and all these things. You also went through a period where you had a head injury. Not specifically how you had an injury, but you had a head injury that you needed some sort of a surgery to handle.
Yeah, I had a traumatic brain injury.
A traumatic brain injury.
Yeah, and we didn't actually have the surgery, but with therapy and therapy, medication, and acupuncture.
Acupuncture.
Yeah. We avoided surgery. Now there's a long-term effect that my doctor was worried about, and
So it was your choice to avert that.
yeah, and the long-term effect is what I'm dealing with right now.
Okay.
Because I didn't want nobody going in there and messing up, because what if I didn't come back to what I love?
Yeah.
Even though I kind of brushed the music to the side for that time, I still wanted to be able to open that door.
Yeah.
And if I went through with that surgery, there was a real big possibility that I would come out worse than the injury left me. So, and the injury left me pretty bad.
Yeah. It's almost like an athlete, when they have these, orthoscopic knee surgeries or these terrible ankle surgeries, it's like, okay, we know you could play basketball before, but going through what you've gone through, they want to know if you can still play again, and most of them never come back as they used to be, sort of thing.
Not the same.
And you were speaking directly here. This is like in terms of in basketball language, this is literally almost your head injury, because you're using your mind, your head, to compose and do all these intricate production work.
Yeah. It wasn't easy, because I tried months after the injury, even a year after the injury, and I couldn't do it.
Wow.
It was too painful, like physical pain to my head. When I tried to play guitar, it was just painful.
Man.
She was there to push me to say try, against my doctor's will. Try.
Yeah.
And I'm trying my best, but it wasn't happening.
Yeah. I remember visiting you, and you being unable to even, at the time I was visiting you, you weren't even able to super articulate, bro.
Wow.
But you were meeting with me, having these convos, because I was going through a huge spiritual awakening, and I had a whole lot of things going on with me. And and you were speaking more about your queen and how she was there
She was
for
there,
you. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
She was there.
You at the time, you know, with your baby girl and doing these things, but it was so difficult to just be a regular dad, a regular husband, a regular person because, you know, of the injuries you had, and she was there for you to. So shout out to you, Tia, for helping to bring my brother back. You know,
That's right.
You know, we
That's
highly
my baby.
appreciate you for that. These are the kind of you know, examples we need out here. You know, with you know, women who are literally in every facet of the word.
That's right.
Our backbones.
I agree. I wouldn't be here right now today if it wasn't for her.
Most definitely.
Because she pulled me back out of that craziness, out of that world of that injury. She pulled me out of it.
Most definitely.
I needed her, so she was there.
All right, now, last thing here before we knock off. What do you have to say to you know, up and coming artists and up and coming producers who would like to do some of the things you've done and work, you know, and some of the artists you've helped? What advice do you have for these people?
Well, I would tell them, stick to your guns, be original as possible. Never, never, never give up.
Always.
Never give up. Go for it as hard as you could. And when that's not enough, go even harder. Go even harder. But don't give up. Don't quit. It's possible to get there. I'm proof of that right now.
Most definitely. You are. You are. You definitely are. We appreciate you for that, and we thank you. Now, one last thing. At this particular moment, how can anybody reach you? Say somebody's watching the show right now and say, you know, hey, I want to work with that guy. I want him to be a mentor of mine. I want to be inspired by his beats. That might just drop you on your head because they are traumatic beats. But how can people reach you? Do you have music out? Are you still producing?
Yeah,
how can they reach you?
I'm actually, we are at traumatbeats.com. That is TRAUMATZ beats with a Z.
Yeah.
.com.
So traumatbeats.com. TRAUMAT
T.
with a Z.
Yep.
TRAUMATZ.com. I'm on the website right now. One of your beats is actually a beat we're going to get from you to actually use for our theme
That's what's up. There you
music
go.
for, because your beats, man, no wonder you've been blessed to meet and work with the people you've worked with, because
Appreciate that, bro.
you were given a gift. You know,
right.
you came back here at this particular time in your incarnation to be who you are.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
There you go. All praises, bro.
Definitely.
Yep.
And actually, hold on. Before we get up out of here, I just want to speak how much of a stand-up, just, you know, me being a guy who came to this country in 2004, growing up in Africa, in West Africa, at the very bottom of the skull of the map of Africa. You know, what are the likelihoods, the chances that you know, I will be sitting here with you, talking to you, we'll be friends.
Yeah.
A guy like you who, you know, have all this notoriety. I'm highly appreciative of that.
No doubt, bro. Anytime. Thank you
Definitely.
for that. And it was worth it, brother. You were far worth it. You were just
Appreciate
that shining light, that inspiration, that extra inspiration for me. So
Appreciate it.
was
I
worth
appreciate it. There was a time, really quick, I went to see this man. I was homeless, okay? I was going through a spiritual awakening. I had literally my soul had dropped me down from this so-called ego trip that I was on, thinking I was about to be this big movie star, and not knowing that I had different plans, you know, different purpose to do other things to inspire people. And so I got sat down by my own self, my own higher self, and I was confused. I didn't know what was going on. You know, I thought somebody doing something to me. So I was going through a whole lot of things, and I relied upon him to be a guide for me, to talk to him, to ask him questions about his journey and what's going on with me. And I was homeless. There was a time I was sleeping in my car, and I went to this guy. Didn't even tell him anything. He asked him for anything. He just, you know, came up and gave me a X amount of money one time. Just literally gave me money. People don't do that out here. People don't do that. They'll give you words, they'll say things, but he literally gave me money. This is a man who I was actually paying paying for production time, paying for his beats. He literally gave me money. And that's not just the reason why I got so much love and respect for you, just because of the energy.
You
know, how you you see everybody as they are. You know what I'm saying? You do not judge. You work with so many local artists out here. People who will never go anywhere with their music, to be quite honest. But you've worked with them, you've given them chances. We appreciate you. And if the city of Minneapolis, the state of Minnesota, you didn't know about this man, now you know. This is Trauma T, and one of the best in the business, has been that for quite a while. And and thank you for being a part of this and being his backbone, his queen.
That's right.
Thanks for having me here.
Definitely, we appreciate you. So thanks again, dog.
No doubt.
I really appreciate you. And
thanks for having me.
We're gonna have you up in here on the show again another time, being another guest again. So thank you, man.
You know how to reach me.
Much love.
Thank you, brother.
Definitely.
Appreciate it.
Alrighty, well, thank you guys. This was the Knockers TV, our very first guest. I hope you love what you saw, and we're gonna have more all these people for you, these wonderful heroes that you haven't heard the stories about from Minnesota. Okay, we're bringing you everything about the city, promoting the city. So,
That's right.
Thanks for watching.